Hello, and welcome to Movie Central, the place to talk about movies, TV shows based on movies, toys based on movies, games based on movies, and rides based on movies. I'm your host, Mr. CCS, and this is my pet gorilla, George. Let's talk about Star Wars Episode 1 again. As I said in my review, Star Wars Episode 1 was one of the most anticipated films of all time. However, when people went to see the film, they loathed it. The movie currently sports a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes and has been despised by many internet critics. However, there are two saving graces to this film. What are the saving graces, you may be asking? One, some critics, myself included, actually thought it was pretty good. Most of the characters are fun to watch, the visuals are nice, and the music and action scenes are phenomenal. And two, the movie was a huge success. At the time of its release, 1999, the movie grossed more than $924.3 million at the box office. Then, in February 2012, the movie made an additional $102.7 million because of the 3D re-release. I'll make a topic on this video. You know what I mean. I'll make a video on this topic later. Now, the movie has made $1.027 billion at the box office, making it one of the highest grossing films of all time, and also making it George Lucas's most successful Star Wars film. And since the film was such a success, Lucas went with his two sequels. Do they have the same problems, though? Well, we're going to talk about that today. This is the second chapter in the Star Wars prequel trilogy, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. The film is set 10 years after the Battle of Naboo, when the galaxy is on the brink of civil war. Under the leadership of renegade Jedi Master Count Dooku, played by Saruman and Scaramanga, Sir Christopher Lee, thousands of systems threaten to secede from the Republic. When an assassination attempt is made on Senator Padme Amidala, played again by Natalie Portman, the former Queen of Naboo, Jedi apprentice Anakin Skywalker, played this time by Hayden Christensen, is assigned to protect her, while his mentor Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, is assigned to investigate the assassination attempt. Soon, the Jedi are drawn into the heart of the Separatist movement and the beginning of a new threat to the galaxy, the Clone Wars. And then ensues the awesome 7-season TV show. Interesting story, am I right? Well, it sounds interesting, yes. But it is actually the weakest entry in this trilogy. Okay, there are many reasons why this is the weakest entry in the trilogy. First of all, the story can get quite boring at some points. Some of the scenes with Anakin get hammered in way too damn much. More on that later. And some scenes are longer than they need to be. I'll get to that later as well. How are the characters in this film? Let's start with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like with Episode 1, Ewan McGregor seems to be having more fun with the role than Alec Guinness did. And in my opinion, he was better. And what about this one? My opinion stands the same. McGregor downright carries Obi-Wan Kenobi right down to the very look, as he now sports a full beard and long hair. Don't worry, he'll cut it. So yeah, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan is one of the highlights of this movie, and the trilogy as a whole. Now we get to Anakin Skywalker. Jake Lloyd, who portrayed young Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace, was too young to portray a 19-year-old Padawan, so they replaced him with Canadian actor Hayden Christensen. Everyone and their grandma has had their opinions on him, and they say that he was really bad. So, it's my turn. His performance in this film is actually pretty good. Now, hold on, before smashing that dislike button, I want you to hear me out for 1 second. Christensen has more good scenes than bad in this franchise. The good aspect of him in this film is his rage during the Tusken Raider camp scene. That shows him slowly transforming into the villain we all know and love, Darth Vader. I also love how conflicted he is by love in this scene, and he tries with his performance. Now, with that being said, he does a few things badly. The first of which is the "I don't like sand" line. That is so corny and so cringy, and it could have been cut entirely out of the film. I also don't like that scene where he talks to Padme in their villa. It's also very corny and cringy. How come this came from one of the same writers as the original trilogy, who wrote a good romance in The Empire Strikes Back? That's disappointing. I'm done hating on Hayden Christensen right now. I'll get to Natalie Portman's performance. She was better than she was in the previous film, and by far a more strong, independent female character. And then she married Anakin in secret, which makes her even more strong. And that is forbidden with the Jedi. This is how you do a female character, guys. Not like that episode of The Flash where they were just forcing in feminism propaganda. Ugh. No offense to feminism. I support it, but the way you push it too much is just a little grating. Okay, now for the side characters. Mace Windu and Yoda have a lot more to do in this film. They brandish their lightsabers, which is awesome. Mace Windu has the rare purple lightsaber, which is pretty sweet. And when Yoda uses a lightsaber, oh my god. He's so damn cool that he gives Darth Maul a run for his money, and Darth Maul knows how to use a lightsaber. As for the other side characters, we see R2 and 3PO again, which is a nice touch. And we get to see Owen and Beru from the first Star Wars film. And we get to see Anakin's stepfather, Klieg Lars. How cool! Now we get an appearance from Watto, and he's just as racist as before. God damn, that freaking hurts. Thankfully, Lucas cut him down to just a scene, but still. Now, before we get to the villains, I want to say one thing, that they did fix the problems from the previous film. There's not as much Jar Jar in it, thankfully. And the Trade Federation characters only have like 4 lines in this film. Alright, the villains. First, we had the Fets. You may know Boba Fett, but you haven't seen Jango Fett. Man, this guy is cool. First of all, he has more action scenes than Boba Fett does in the original trilogy. And believe it or not, he's more evil than his son. He kills one of his own henchmen, he kills a Jedi, and attempts assassination. Boba Fett did less than that in the original trilogy. Only now is he starting to become like his father with The Mandalorian Season 2. Someone needs to teach this bounty hunter a lesson. Mace Windu comes to save the day and beheads the bounty hunter, ending his horrible stain on the galaxy. But what about the main villain? That goes to Count Dooku. This dude orders the creation of a clone army under Darth Sidious, aka the Emperor. He kills more Jedi than Darth Maul or even Darth Vader. He cuts off Anakin's arm and tries to kill Yoda. That is really horrendous, and something even a Jedi couldn't do to a Sith. More on that later. He's so good that he seems to be one of the few characters to get a full development in the Clone Wars TV show. Alright, enough about the characters. How are the visuals? Believe it or not, these visuals are great. Jar Jar looks better. I never thought I'd say that in a million years. Yoda looks fantastic. The lightsabers are improved, and the creatures look amazing. Except for the Kaminoans. Good God, these guys look like garbage. How's the music? Well, don't ever question John Williams, because he passes again with flying colors. And how about the action scenes? I don't usually give extra credit, but these action scenes are some of the best in the franchise. I think I might give these scenes an 11 out of 10, but in reality they all get a 10 out of 10. So what's my final verdict? I used to think this movie was bad, but after watching it again and reflecting on Solo: A Star Wars Story and The Last Jedi, which are my least favorite films in the saga, I realized that this is the most underrated Star Wars movie. Sure, it's not an easy movie to get through, but it is a fun ride when you focus on the good stuff. It is an incredible ride. Is it better than The Phantom Menace? No. But does it fix the problems? Yes. That is the reason why I give this movie a strong rating of a 9 out of 10. An underrated movie and an underrated gem. So that was Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. What are your thoughts on it? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Before I go, I want to announce that I'm announcing a new channel on April 1st. I promise you there will be no jokes. Tune in next week when I take a look at the final film before the Avengers in the MCU. Captain America, the First Avenger. With that said, I'm Mr. CCS, this is Movie Central, and that, my friends, is a wrap. See you next week.